down there. Stay down there, dude. Oh my god.
Oh, get that out of here! You like locked them in some sort of like combo, and I'm just like praying behind you with an axe.
Oh my god.
Uh-huh.
Don't make it like a TikTok, make it a YouTube video.
Oh
my god. It's a TikTok.
Excellent victory.
Bring back so many memories.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see that shit? I fucking grabbed Jenkins and get the fuck out of here. Threw Jenkins into orbit, baby. Superman 10 out of 10. Let's go. Hey everyone, Sean here, and welcome to this video. This year, or this month alone, rather, of 2025 has been quite turbulent already. A lot has been happening left and right in the world, including even here in California with the fire and everything. And we just had, you know, just a couple plane crashes somewhere in the U.S. It's, you know, two separate ones in the course of a day, which is crazy. So on and so forth. There's been a lot happening in just 1 month, and now I'm including myself getting sick. I was sick for like a week, so I've been trying to get over this this cold. So sorry if I sound a little funny, but hopefully everyone's been doing good in midst of this quite I don't want to say chaotic, but you know, there is certainly something happening, right? Quite a bit. But anyway, let's talk about video games for a second here, and even that of itself is a lot has been quite happening as well. But specifically, I wanted to sit down and talk about Warner Brothers' Multiversus, which was supposed to be sort of slated to be like the direct competitor to the Super Smash Brothers franchise at this point. I believe I consider that as a franchise, but Smash Brothers, of course, is that big popular fighting game that features platforming and jumping and stuff like that. We've all come to love it because of its roster and just that simple yet very satisfying gameplay. And Multiversus was pretty much directly inspired by that. And they try to do some things admittedly interesting with the duo dynamics, right? Especially when passives are activated, and it kind of gives that sort of similar vibes to that of like a hero like a hero JRPG or RPG, kind of like with Genshin or such other action RPGs that have passives, right? When you activate certain sort of when you perform certain actions, stuff like that. So the point is that Multiversus was admittedly very much going to be that potential competitor against Smash, and it could have been with flying colors. However, as of very recent, as I record this, unfortunately, the developers of the game, Player One or Player First, came out and pretty much with the statement that they are going to shut down. They are going to shut down the service side of things, and you will be able to continue playing it from an offline perspective, right? With the characters that you got and all that in between. Now, with all that being said, of course, the online service will cease to continue once the 5th and final season has come to an end, and that season will feature Aquaman and one other character. Forgive me if I'm forgetting that character's name, but anyway, now with that being said, of course, the online services will cease to exist once the 5th and final season has come to its conclusion, which is about May 30th. and starting from the beginning of February, I believe, February 4th to be, I guess, exact. And that will feature two characters, Aquaman and Lola Bunny. So I think that's pretty much it. Sadly, but hopefully there'll be more to come. But that sounds about it. And either way, it's really a shame that this is going to shut down pretty much. If it hasn't been said already, I mean, this game I did play in the early season, or really the beta launch, which was very strange first off. But the overall like just vibe or feel did come off like a Smash like, and I actually had a good time playing with a friend. During my first couple of streams, and there were a lot of times I did play Iron Giant. I do tend to like gravitate more towards like the big, heavy characters myself, and I do like big robots. So that kind of was up my alley with Iron Giant, and apparently he was pretty good in the beginning, but then stuff happened, so he kind of felt um, mutilated, I guess. Once those patches came out, I think, if that's correct. But anyway, either way, though, there were some shortcomings that, including the online of itself, and then of course the grinding nature of it, which was a huge turnoff for somebody like me, along with a number of people. And then strangely, like the launch apparently was just like a beta, even though it was said to be a full launch of the game. So it was like, celebrated as if it was that launch, right? Launch week and all that stuff. And it even won the Fighting Game Award at the Game Awards, winning over games like DNF Duel and King of Fighters 15. So that of itself is such a robbery, and it's taking a trophy and running away with it pretty much, and we'll never get to ever see KOF 15 being nominated ever again on the Game Awards at least, which is a damn shame because if it weren't for that, then it would have had more of a chance to win that award, to get that recognition that I thought it deserved, or that or DNF Duel. But personally, I would have picked KOF 15, but that's just me. But no, it was Multiversus, and Multiversus, I guess, being a beta, right, beat all those other fighting games, including JoJo. So that's such a wild thing to say and think about, especially now that the game is going to be slated to shut down on online wise and cease to continue its services, right? Which is like all the more shame because of how much money was put into the game by its players, by the consumers, right? Thinking that this game would have lasted a little longer than that. It's there's quite a lot to say about the situation, and none of it is anything positive. So I think though that was the first weird move, right? Which is the whole beta launch thing, and then they just literally shut down the game for like that many months. I think it was like at least plus 6 months, almost a year pretty much. And then when they came back, it seemed like it didn't even feel like it was a complete game. It felt like it was worse in some ways, especially with the grinding nature of how you get those characters for free as a free to play player, which essentially means in short word, you have to have put so many hours just to try to get all the characters in an ever growing roster, right? So that was a no. That was a huge no. The microtransactions on top of it, the confusing currency system. There are like 5 of them. It's like, what the heck am I looking at here? So on top of that, the patches didn't really do all that much for the characters that needed help. It seemed like just the huge points that make a good live service game were very much missed, and I think that's what tanked it. I think that's what put the final nail in that coffin. Is that they just did not quite put themselves in a good place to help keep these games going, right? In the sea of so many other live service games today, there's so many out there that get shut down constantly, especially from like Namco, because there are just a good handful of the few that really do a good job with these live service games, including Fortnite, and of course the Hoyo games like Genshin, ZZZ, as of recent, and then of course Star Rail, right? So those players are already hooked onto those like live service games. So if you're really gonna put out another live service game, you have to give them a really good reason to take away their time from those games and have them put that time into multiverses. And the same goes, of course, to all the fighting game players, right? All those fighting game players, they're so stuck onto those fighting games, so you better give them a good reason to hop onto this game. You know what I mean? So the live service, the fighting games, right? You really have to get that right to have an everlasting game. And multiverses fail that with what's the opposite of flying colors? Like with falling just shit, right? Again, it is really such a shame because multiverses is of course the Smash Warner Brothers game, right? Funny enough, Warner Brothers, Smash Brothers. Anyway, Warner Brothers has such a vast potential for what characters could be picked in general. That alone is such a long conversation piece, right? Of who could have made into this fighting game. It's kind of sad that we didn't even get to see Daffy Duck, right? Characters like Daffy Duck or Robin, or you know what I mean, like all those other characters that have a well-established connection to the pre-existing characters, right? I mean, we've already had Superman, Batman, Bugs Bunny, um, you know, Marvin Martian, and then as a recent we have Jason Voorhees and Agent Smith, and it's such an odd pick, right? Because we have Agent Smith coming in before Neo of all people, so it's like it's such a damn shame that we didn't really get to have the chance to see characters like Harry Potter and Godzilla on the same screen. We could have had Godzilla versus Iron Giant, and that's such a it's just sad to just see that chance just dwindle down to zero now when the potential is absolutely there. The possibilities was so vast of who could have appeared in the multiverse's limelight. But because they dropped the ball so hard in the biggest, what could have been the biggest alley oop that competes with Smash Brothers of all time, they dropped the ball so hard. It's just, ugh, it's such a bad feeling. I think, as someone who was really looking forward to something to compete with Smash, but now you don't really have something to compete with Smash. I mean, even games like Rivals of Aether and stuff like that, I don't really do that. I mean, yeah, they're kind of a Smash like, but they don't really even. It has its own audience obviously, but it's not even like, of course, reaching for it. But maybe that's not the intention of it anyway. But Warner Brothers, yes, absolutely. I think they were trying to really cash in on that part, but overall, though, I think speaking of cash, the greed, what did them in. I mean, as simple as that sounds, whether you blame this solely on Player First or Warner Brothers, of course, it's again the word of the day is shame. It's so shameful to just see such a big potential deflate to nothing, pretty much. When you had so much going, you had such a vast pool of characters to choose from, and the ideas could have been there. I mean, this is supposed to be a duo-oriented Smash Brothers kind of game, and it could have been really interesting, but it's a little difficult because it's better to play with a friend, of course. Um, this is definitely the case, right? And it's just especially with the whole passive, right? The passive and these perks and abilities and such like that. Um, it's like, why? How could they have screwed up so hard? But when you look at all other screw ups that Warner Brothers has had in the past, and all the other shit that they've had in their plate, especially with their movies, it really starts to add up, right? You really get to see that it's not all that surprising, unfortunately, to see Warner Brothers kind of screw up this hard. Um, Especially with like all those DC movies, and then you got all the two DC movies that, or the two movies that did not make it, and instead they were scrapped to essentially be tax write-offs. And one of them was the Wile E. Coyote Acme movie, which could have had such a it could have been so charming just to see Coyote and Roadrunner on the same screen once again, to kind of like help us relive our childhoods and stuff like that, and just have a good time for like what, an hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever, you know, something in this world of shit right now. But of course, Warner Brothers just does not give a crap. They just want to um, just pump out crap, but try to make money as much as possible with the lowest amount of effort, you know. And especially if you look at a game like Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. I mean, look at what they did with the ending, right? I mean, with Rocksteady, right? They were trying to really push this to be that live service game, you know, and they had to cut that short because there was just not enough players to sustain it. Of course, no surprise there. But what they did with the ending was just wow. I did not think they would go there with the whole clones thing. It was such a weird story. It tried to like uh be shoehorned into this, right? Especially with what has become of what Wonder Woman in that game, you know. So it's, man, like Warner Brothers is just really dropping the ball right now, and I don't know how it could get any worse, but I have a feeling it'll get worse somehow. Um, maybe Jamie Gunn can save some part of Warner Brothers with the upcoming Superman movie, but who the hell knows? Um, but it does not change the fact that Multiversus is going away. There's gonna be um, a stop to it. No more new characters. That's what we got, pretty much. Plus Aquaman and Lola Bunny, you know. And because like I said, this was such a pool of vast potential, but they just dropped the ball. They just dropped the ball, and um, it's so hard to watch and hear. That is just heartbreaking, to say at least. As someone who grew up with these cartoon characters and just other characters like Agent Smith from The Matrix, right? As a teen, a lot of these characters I grew up with, man. You know, but damn, we didn't even get to see at least see Daffy Duck, man. Like, god damn. Ah, you know, it just sucks to talk about it, but it is what it is. It should not be as surprising, but it's still kind of is, and it's still somewhat worth talking about because of how much multiverses could have been. But yeah, man, we've been seeing live services fail left and right, including Concord, of course, being a huge one. Um, they're about to shut Ubisoft is about to shut down X Defiant, right? Um, and so on and so forth. So these live service games is just like they're not it, man. I mean, and if you're going to do it, I mean, in some cases you have to put more effort than you would with a regular ass game if you think about it, right? Especially if, with how many are out there right now. So is it really profitable? Is it really worth chasing that um, and try to hop on that wagon, right? I don't think so, man. It's just kind of like that carrot on the fishing pole kind of thing. They're just constantly going to be chasing it, and no and they'll meet no end to it other than the shutdown, you know. And they're gonna pay for it. Man, it's wow, is all I can say at this point. So that's pretty much it on this multiverses shutdown. And my feelings on it, man. It's um I'm gonna say again, it's a damn shame, you know. Uh we've had so many possibilities. Even Godzilla could have made it in there. King Kong could have made it, or Kong, excuse me. Kong could have made it in there. So many other DC heroes and villains um lined up, possibly. The Lord of the Rings stuff, man, it's a little tough to. It's a tough pill to swallow, but it's a pill that you kind of saw kind of a mile away. But man, all right. Anyways, so what are you guys' feelings on this one? Did you guys play Multiversus at all? Were you hoping that the game could have flourished? What could it have done to save themselves, right? Maybe that's I could have talked about this one to wrap it up, but maybe they could have done a, smart approach to have a one-time purchase, and then the rest of the characters are free, and I'm sure the cosmetics would have been the extra, right? The extra purchases, but that's purely cosmetic, right? And then look at like a game like Marvel Rivals. Look at how much limelight that's getting, and praise and all that stuff, right? In comparison, you have so many cool looking costumes. The characters themselves look really cool. It just literally took Overwatch stuff and just made it better in a way. They took all the good parts of Overwatch and then just be like, hey, this battle pass, man, you can work on it anytime you want when you purchase it, and have at it, man. There's no FOMO, no nothing. Like they literally just took the good parts of live service, and then they're just rolling with it. And then meanwhile, they're just on the American side of things, they're doing all these like sleazy, just utter, just dark tactic type of like nonsense, and it's just not it, man. So, any comments on that stuff? Let me know. I'll leave them down below, and hit the thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this. 'Cause I really do appreciate it, because this is all the more helpful in this little rough time here, right? Man, another one in the books, and there's plenty of other like fumbles, but man, this one hurts to kind of think about in a way. But anyways, thank you very much, and hope to see you all in the next video. Sean out.